go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Masters Fantasy Show, brought to you by MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com. My name's Jonathan, a commish here at Masters. We got Dynasty Owl, the Doc. We are the Masters crew. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing great.
Well, I'm doing all right. Yeah.
Yeah, good to hear. We're going to be talking about dynasty quarterbacks for contending teams. If you're making a playoff push, looking to get in that championship game, make some money, we got a couple guys we think can help you out, help you get over the edge and get there. Kick it right over to you guys, whichever you guys want to go first. Floor is all yours.
Well, the Doc go first. I've got a few guys in mind, so I won't take his thunder here.
Oh, thank you, Al.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the guy that I've actually been kind of publicly down on in the past, and that guy is Jalen Hurts. I know I've talked a lot of mess on Jalen Hurts, but I feel like not even just for a playoff push, but in Dynasty too. Like, I feel like he's a great twofer because not only can he help you in your playoff push, but he's also very young. And I also have seen some things this year that give me a little more confidence in him being the answer in Philly going forward. I still don't think he's a great thrower of the ball, but his upside on his legs is just so good. And I feel like they're usually either like doing well, so he runs and gets a lot of points, or they're getting spanked, so he gets garbage time points. It's the perfect combination. I mean, the dude can do it all, and I feel like he's still relatively cheap for a guy that's that young and has that kind of potential. So I think I'd send some feelers out there and try to get a guy that I think could be, a 20-point a game scorer, which he basically has been this season. And then also be a guy that can take me forward in years to come. So I'd be willing to shell out a nice little chunk of cheese for him. I really would.
And one sec, right before you go, Dynasty Owl, that's really interesting. Dynasty Owl, I'm going to kick this over to you.
Yeah.
I know you're on the record. I think it's both you guys.
Yeah.
Saying that you thought this guy was going to make it until about his next contract, probably fizzle out, wasn't going to get paid. Do you still think that? Or are you kind of leaning to switching over to Doc?
No, so it's funny, and I kind of thought this is where the Doc was going, but then he kind of gave him a little more confidence. So I actually like him as a buy right now if you're contending this year as well. But it's partially because I think everybody's kind of really starting to doubt his long-term potential, which I think is what's going to make him available.
Right.
In these dynasty leagues, because if you're a rebuilding team and you've got Jalen Hurts, you're thinking, man, this guy's not a franchise quarterback. I might as well trade him now while I can. Because there was a lot of Deshaun Watson talk. That's going to come back this offseason. Also, if they're picking top 5 in the draft, there's going to be quarterback talk as always. So I think now's the time to buy Hurts if you're a contender, because I do think 20 plus points a game the rest of the season is very likely. But I think everyone's starting to see the future, not so of a sure thing for Jalen Hurts.
So I still agree with that. I will say I still don't think long term he's got great potential. If I said long term, I meant like short long term. His first contract.
Yeah.
And I also think the fact that all the quarterbacks that were supposed to be taken this year in the draft absolutely stink. So the fact that they have 3 high picks in a draft with no good quarterbacks, really, it lets me believe that they might just hold on to him, ride out his contract, let him eat up fantasy points. Again, I think I agree with what you said. His value is pretty low right now because outside of this contract, I do have a ton of doubts still. But I do think he's done enough this year to hold on to that job. And I think, again, with the quarterback sucking too, I think he's kind of locked into that spot for at least another year or two. So again, good production out of that position, even though I don't like it long term.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
So
little bit of a bold prediction here to throw out. It's November 15th. Mark it down. And around February, March, April, the Eagles will trade at least 2 of those 3 first rounders for either Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, or Aaron Rodgers.
Wow. Yeah.
Could happen. That would put a big damper on things for sure.
Yeah,
but then at the very least, you got, 20 points a game at quarterback for the rest of the way. And,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you reassess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Go ahead. Kick it over to you, Dynasty Owl. What quarterback are you taking a look at on your contending teams this season?
Sure. So I got 2 guys who have a lot of parallels, both 32, 33 years old in age. So, on that older side, but I think still, playing at an elite level this year, at least had been, Russ didn't do it this past Sunday and also got hurt, but Russell Wilson and then Matthew Stafford. Like I said, both these guys are the age where people are selling in dynasty leagues. But I mean, Matthew Stafford's points were up there earlier. I know Robert Woods went down. They add, Odell Beckham. We'll see what kind of continuity that has. It could throw some things off a little bit. And then Russell Wilson coming off, returning from injury, and then they were shut out. So, people could be not thinking he's done, but I think the selling window for teams who aren't making the playoffs is there if you're a Russell Wilson owner. So I think there's a buying opportunity. And even though they're quiet last week, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are still, a pair of really nice weapons. So I think the weapons are there for both of them. I think they're both on, good offenses and, they're elite talents at the quarterback position.
Yeah, no doubt. I got to say, watching that first half of that Green Bay Seattle game was tough this week.
I know. Yeah.
Man, what is going on here? Expecting a ton of points. I'm with you. I think down the stretch, both them guys, nothing to worry about. Doc, you agree?
To an extent. I am a little more worried about Russell Wilson. Saquon did it a couple years back where, you get an injury that's supposed to be 6 weeks and he comes back after 2. Russell Wilson's was supposed to be 8 and he came back after 2, 3.
Yeah,
I never liked that. And he obviously looked a little off yesterday. He can still make all the throws, but just here and there, he just doesn't look right. I'm a little more worried about him, but I still think he'll be good enough and worth probably what you could get him for. So,
yeah. And I think if you're a contender, your record's pretty good, even if it took Russell a couple weeks to get up to speed. Mm-hmm. I do feel like he'll get there. That offense, the weapons just too powerful. Both great takes. And I got one. I'm going to toss it out there. And I feel like both of you guys know who it is based on my history.
Oh, I know.
I like old guys. I like good stories. So you put two of those things together. Cam Newton and Carolina. If I'm a contender, I want him on my team for this season. And hey, maybe he's not going to be your starter every week. I'm not going to go and tell you how good, Cam's history, obviously all that stuff well documented. I like the story. And anytime I can get a good story behind a guy, get a guy that's motivated, and I still think Cam can play. I've been saying it for years. I think Cam's been getting the short end of the stick some, kicked out of Carolina, obviously in New England. I didn't think that roster was very good. And I'm trying to think of maybe all of Cam's teams. This might be my favorite one.
Weapons, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, McCaffrey, Terrace Marshall. The list goes on. Yeah, the weapons are there.
So for me, and I don't think anybody's looking at him like a dynasty quarterback. And I'll add this too. If Cam performs the rest of the season, no reason to think he can't be the starter again next year. So I think not only for the push the rest of this season, there's a guy who can come back and do it again next year. And I think you could get him pretty cheap right now. And let's be honest, man, if you ask me, I'm trying to think, like in the league, obviously behind Lamar Jackson, what other quarterback would you? Jalen Hurts is up there. I think Cam is next in line for guys running the ball that I'd like to have. So,
yeah, I will say I've been pretty publicly negative on Cam too, but that was again more. I just never really understood the fit with New England. I do think back in Carolina, it just makes all the sense in the world. They had a handful of plays for him to even run, and he had 2 touchdowns. So, that's all that you need to know. As a McCaffrey owner, I'm sick because now the goal line touchdowns are going to dwindle a little bit. But yeah, I think he's definitely, they already kind of said they're going to start ramping him up more this week. It's his job, and I think he's going to do really well. It is kind of funny to me too, that, all these guys they've gone through to replace him, and now he's basically replacing himself. They come back to him. It's hilarious.
That one tweet was crazy. I forget who sent it, but yeah.
They basically they got rid of Cam and replaced him with Teddy Bridgewater, and then got rid of Teddy Bridgewater, replaced him with Darnold, and then they got rid of Darnold, replaced him with Cam. Basically, all these guys they brought
Cam replaced his replacements.
He replaced his replacements. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that it said that they were paying all of them still.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which made it interesting. So we'll see. And I don't know. Look, I don't know. I just think it's going to be interesting. I think Cam could be a guy you could end up using down the stretch and get really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. All right,
guys, I like the take a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Unload that blind bidding balance on this dude.
Yeah, we'll see how that's going to be. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what? Some guys might not even pick him up. Some people are so out on Cam. We'll see. But I'd go pick him up for sure. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this edition. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you could hit the like and subscribe button, love for you to come be a part of the Masters family. Any last words, guys?
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, folks.
Let's roll. 3.
Thank you, folks.